Before we dive into the realities of World War I soldier ingenuity, let's be honest with each other as history enthusiasts. The Great War wasn't just a clash of empires, trenches, and industrial-scale artillery. It was also a battleground of improvised tactics, dark creativity, and frontline problem-solving that rarely makes it into the standard textbooks. Soldiers weren't only fighting the enemy, they were fighting mud, cold, boredom, exhaustion, and the constant awareness that the next hour could be their last. And in that unforgiving pressure cooker they came up with tricks, some brilliant, some brutal, and some so effective they were banned by their own armies or condemned by international conventions. What makes these tricks worth studying isn't the shock factor. It's the insight they give us into wartime adaptation and survival. These were not theoretical tactics drafted in clean rooms by generals. These were methods born directly from the mud of Passchendaele, the shattered woods of Verdun, and the frozen lines of the Somme. And understanding them today teaches real lessons about improvisation, survival thinking, and the tactical mindset under extreme stress. So, as we go through 7 World War I soldier tricks that were deadly effective but banned, pay attention to how each method pushed the boundaries of acceptable warfare, and how the same kind of adaptive thinking can translate into modern-day survival, crisis response, and tactical awareness. Now let's get into it. The first banned trick soldiers used was the improvised sawtooth bayonet technique. Standard-issue bayonets were meant for thrusting, not sawing, but many soldiers, especially on the front lines in 1914 to 1915, modified their blades with serrations or added small teeth using file tools. The idea wasn't cruelty, it was practicality. A serrated edge cut through wire, wooden stakes, and daily trench materials far better than a smooth blade. The problem was political optics. Any soldier captured with a sawtooth bayonet risked immediate execution because the enemy viewed it as unnecessarily brutal in close combat. Armies eventually banned the practice or recalled serrated-edge bayonets entirely. In terms of application today, the lesson is simple. Tools that serve multiple functions increase survival capability, but using them requires awareness of consequences. In wilderness survival, for example, adding micro-serrations to a knife improves rope cutting and woodworking efficiency. But you must understand when a tool modification becomes a liability in restricted or safety-sensitive environments. Another banned trick involved trench raiders using silent clubs and weighted saps. These were handmade weapons created from wood, metal scraps, lead, or even sandbags tied around a handle. Raiding parties relied on total silence when slipping into enemy trenches at night. Firearms were loud. Grenades were risky. A silent club, used with precision, allowed them to disable sentries before alarms could be raised. Because such weapons caused massive head trauma, some armies classified them as barbaric and banned their use officially, even though everyone knew raids still relied on them. A modern application isn't about wielding a club, obviously. It's the understanding that stealth and speed matter more than firepower in close, crowded, low-visibility environments. Whether you're moving in dense forests, navigating tight structures, or training in tactical awareness, the principle remains. The quieter your actions, the greater your control over the encounter. The third banned method was the homemade periscope rifle. Soldiers strapped mirrors, boards and rifle stocks together to shoot over the trench parapet without exposing their heads. It was ingenious, effective and extremely dangerous to enemy morale because it removed the vulnerability of popping your head above the trench. Some commands banned these devices because they interfered with rifle accuracy and risked weapon damage, but the real reason was that it undermined central control. For modern survivalists, the principle here is resourcefulness. Extending your field of view or reach using improvised optics, camera rigs or mirror systems can help you inspect hazards or obstacles at a safe distance. For example, using a compact mirror to observe around corners in abandoned structures or disaster zones can give you critical information without exposing yourself. The fourth banned tactic was the use of improvised jam pot bombs. Before standardized grenades were mass-issued, soldiers made bombs out of jam tins, gunpowder and shrapnel debris. These devices were brutally effective and easy to construct, but honestly, they were quite unstable. Many armies banned them as soon as they could supply official grenades, because the homemade versions were dangerous even to the thrower. Now, the survival lesson here isn't to make explosives. It's really about understanding the risks of over-improvisation. When you build tools without consistent materials or predictable reactions, whether it's makeshift heating systems, chemical mixes, or flammable fuels, you're balancing problem-solving with hazard creation. Controlled improvisation is smart. Recklessness is not. The fifth banned trick was trench baiting using fake wounded cries. Raiding units sometimes mimic the sound of an injured soldier to lure enemy medics or stretcher teams into the open, where ambushes could be set. It was psychologically devastating and soon banned because it blurred the line between combat and medical neutrality. In terms of modern application, the deeper lesson is recognizing how sound manipulation affects human decision-making. Today, using decoy noises, audio baits, or misdirection is still part of tactical training, wildlife tracking, and even disaster search operations. Understanding how people instinctively respond to distress sounds can help you avoid falling for traps, literal or psychological. The sixth banned technique involved mining by listening posts far beyond the formal rules. Mining teams placed advanced listening posts dangerously close to enemy tunnels and sometimes used them to trigger collapses manually by igniting small charges or weakening structural supports, which violated early war agreements. This underground warfare became so lethal and unpredictable that new restrictions were imposed by multiple commands. For modern survivalists, this really illustrates how controlling the environment beneath you, foundation stability, tunnel acoustics and soil structure, can, quite literally, determine life or death. In cave survival or collapse building navigation, listening for shifts, cracks, or even subtle air movement is a direct descendant of these wartime methods. The seventh banned trick was the use of improvised chemical irritants before official gas deployment. Before chlorine gas was introduced formally in 1915, soldiers actually experimented with burning materials that produced choking smoke, rubber, oily rags, or chemical-soaked cloth. It irritated lungs and eyes and, well, forced opponents out of their positions. Once gas warfare became a formalized and internationally condemned weapon, these early improvised irritants were banned as well. The modern relevance, really, is in understanding atmospheric hazards. Smoke, fumes, and chemical reactions in enclosed areas can become lethal, even when unintended. Knowing how to ventilate a space, recognize air contamination, and avoid inhalation injury is absolutely essential in urban survival and emergency preparedness. If you found these insights into 7 World War I soldier tricks that were deadly effective but banned valuable, make sure you subscribe, share this video with fellow history enthusiasts, and help grow a community of viewers who appreciate deep, serious battlefield knowledge. Your support keeps this channel alive and drives future research-heavy episodes.